Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in tripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Now who wanna move, crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Delaman, joined by a whole cast of characters. We got the Orange Arrow driving in his car. We've got the big savage glasses Greg. And we've got the mayor of Port Chopolis, fresh out the hospital.
That's true.
A little less weight. Said, I'll take my gallbladder out. I'm trying to lose weight.
Hey, fuck that gallbladder.
Pork chop. Chris Mertens, our guy. What is that?
That's
everybody?
right. I'm loaded up on Percocet. Let's go.
Hell yeah. And he's allowed to say it this time.
That's right, man. I'm fucked up on Percocet.
Guess who's back? Back again. Chop is back.
Tell your friend to subscribe.
I was just going to say hide the man. Because, you know.
Oh, yeah. Need more pork chop mock drafts. That's right.
Yeah. Everybody's glad you're doing well. And you're looking cute.
And I got to tell you, I'm glad I'm doing well, Dale. It was a fucked up Sunday. It was the worst Sunday of my life, including Super Bowl 21.
Ooh.
This was actually worse. The gallbladder shit was actually worse
than all the Super Bowl Sundays.
Then all three Super Bowls combined. Like, those were emotional pain. I felt bad. But this was physical pain where I thought I could possibly die.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we're glad you're doing better, buddy, and we love you.
And I heard you say I'm grounded before you started the show, which is cool because the doctor grounded me anyway. I'm not allowed to do shit.
Yeah, you can't do shit. You
I
can't
can't
go to
even
work
take
for
a piss
while.
because I can't lift 10 pounds. Ha, ha, ha. Get it?
Yeah. You know what you can do? Head on down to Midwest Best Barbecue.
You can, actually. You can.
Another thing you can also do is order from the Chop Shop, another proud sponsor to the show. That's something you can do right now.
I made an Al Golden one last night.
I saw that. Golden Eye. That's awesome, buddy.
Now, maybe you could tell Tim and Nicole, you know, if Nicole ever wanted to make you some of her homemade macaroni and cheese.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't make it there, but she could drop it off to you.
I did. I did hint to it, Dale, because she commented on my Facebook thing where I was in the hospital saying, I hope you get better. And I'm like, girl, I got all kind of time off now to come get that mac and cheese ready.
I know exactly what would make me feel better. It's that homemade mac and cheese.
Tell you what, for March 15th, we got wings, rib weekend. Could be something else added. And Chop, I think.
Fix your audio again, Greg.
Well, Greg, you put it in our group chat, so it's not.
Greg, your audio. Fix your audio.
Also, Greg, you put it in our group chat exactly what you're going to have Nicole serve up, and so it's not a surprise.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to make a surprise to everybody.
But I'm stoked about it.
Chop is stoked.
I've never had shrimp and grits, and I was actually looking at some shrimp and grits last night, and I thought, now fuck that, man. My first shrimp and grits has got to be Midwest Best.
Yeah, hopefully they can make it happen.
And the wavy, crispy fries are awesome. You can put some meat on there. So
onion rings. Look,
and
I ain't got no gallbladder, Dale. I can eat deep fried shit now. Let's go.
I had a pleasure. Me and Darth actually had the pleasure of trying the onion rings a couple weeks ago with the onion ring sauce. And Chapos, I've always said to you about food I like. I've never did crack in my life, but if there is crack, then it.
Well,
then there
Greg,
must be
lucky
something.
for you, I've done crack. So when I eat those onion rings,
you'll be a witness. Then Chop,
compare.
I'll let you know.
So one thing we did hear Duke Tobin say today, he was talking about Chop's surgery, and he said they expect a speedy recovery. And there's a little coach speak in there, but all in all, it sounds like we're going to get a full recovery on Chop.
It should be ready by training camp.
Should be ready by training camp.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, hopefully, if things go well, I'll be with you tonight.
We're somewhat promoting the Project Game Day draft party, Travis. It is the second night of the draft. What night is that? The 25th?
Friday.
April 25th. We'll be at the Fowling Warehouse or the Foaling Warehouse, whatever.
You got to pronounce it like bowling. Foaling.
Yeah. So whatever.
We'll be at that warehouse.
We'll be there, and we'll be having a draft party, and we'll probably be having Midwest cater, and the lanes will be open for people to come in. We don't have a price yet because we got to get a price for Midwest for the food first before we can set a price for the entry fee. But as soon as we get that stuff, we will be getting that out for tickets to go on sale to answer your question there, brother. Yeah, Justin Tucker also likes massages, Jolly. So I don't have anything else on that. He seems to be another Deshaun Watson. He takes 2 massage parlors. Banned.
All right. So what's he doing? Is he like going into parlors that don't do happy endings? And he's like, hey, where's my happy ending?
I know. All you got to do is go to one that offer happy endings, right?
I don't know. I mean, him and Deshaun Watson must be buddies. Where'd Justin Tucker go to college? He didn't go to Clemson too, did he?
If I had more time, no, I don't know where the hell he went to college. But if I had more time, I was going to do like the LeBron picture when he said, I'm taking my talents to Miami, and I was going to put Justin Tucker's face on LeBron and say, I'm taking my talents to Cleveland, but I didn't have enough time.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That would have been elite. But yeah, we are going to talk and doing this pop-up show because Duke Tobin speaks, not to us.
Finally said something. Hey, and look, he had to be cornered to speak too. It wasn't like he set up a conference like Kelsey Conway sabotaged him on the sideline, it seemed like.
Well, it just seems like she took certain quotes, but you didn't read the whole story or anything.
I did read the whole story.
Yeah, there's a full Q&A here with Duke Tobin, Kelsey Conway, and the Cincinnati Enquirer. So I want to give full credit to where this is coming from. You can read that on the Cincinnati Enquirer online and everything. That's where I read it and printed this off so we could go through and discuss the different things. Also, one with Jeff Hobson that I kind of sparsed through, but it was very similar. Maybe, you could pop 1 or 2 comments from Hobson that might be a little different, but it's very similar comments. So we'll just start at the top. The first question that was asked was, what disappointed you most about the way last season went? And I'm not going to read the full response.
Right.
But he's down on their ability to finish plays. He's not down on the football team, though. He still thinks they're very good. Nobody wants to play us. We just got to finish. Blah, 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 blah. We didn't win enough of those close games. Well, no shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't take anything from that quote. You guys got anything for that one?
That's his high football IQ.
Yeah,
right there.
This is the comment I'll make, and I know I'm going to be known as Mr. Positive and all that and stuff, but that's just my job. Somebody's got to do it. But anyway, like he's not going to go out and say, hey, we're going to sign all these guys. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. That's just my personal opinion. I see why this would upset some people, but that's just what I personally think. He's just saying what he's got to say in interviews,
Jerome says pop-up shows are the best, but so are pop-up erections.
And
it's like,
I got to tell you,
baby.
He's
right, Chop?
Jerome ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Derek, what's your take?
On pop-up erections?
I like pop-up erections. I mean,
hell yeah.
As long as you can take care of them afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, if not, Derek, you got 2 fucking hands, and you're going to have to discover that one day because you're fucking married.
This is true.
It might be honeymooning still, but you're going to discover them hands. You're going to come back.
Done discovered them.
The hands, don't forget, Derek.
I mean, we've looked into the stranger. We've tried out several different positions.
But anyways, so anything on about last season? It's just a whatever.
Yeah, that was kind of like a throwaway quote in my opinion.
Like a softball starter question, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's warm old Dookie boy up here.
Right.
Yeah. Let's butter him up with something easy.
And then the next question was honest thoughts on what the plan was on defense and what didn't work. I know Kelsey Conway gets a lot of hate, and she deserves some of it. I won't lie. But I respect that woman will at least ask some questions, and there's more questions in here, and I'm like, good. That's I want to.
They need to ask.
Questions asked.
Yeah, I agree.
And he just says they're going to have to retool. They kept a lot of guys that played in the Super Bowl. Well, not necessarily the good ones, and maybe he's realizing that. And maybe I needed to change more of that going in. But we ran it back with a lot of guys, and it just didn't come together. A lot of veteran guys, and that just happened. And it snowballed on us a little bit. They're going to have to evaluate, and there's going to have to be an influx of young players. So it sounds like they realize they're going to have to go to a youth movement on that side of the ball, which could go along and coincide with the fact that you're hoping, which there'll be more comments about that, but to extend Jamar and T on the offensive side, and you still hope to bring Trey back on the defense. Yeah. But all that money to Sheldon Rankins, all that money to Sam Hubbard, guys like that you weren't getting enough out of this past season, you're going to have to cut that dead ass weight. I'm reading between the lines here. This is what I'm hoping this means.
Yeah.
And you guys can correct me and give your thoughts on what you think it means. But the thing we're going to do this offseason is ask, is that money going where it needs to go? So, I mean, that's kind of the last thing on that. And it's like, well, maybe not. So we'll see. Jermaine Pratt could even be a part of that conversation.
Exactly.
So, but you got to play these young guys, right? That's part of it that we've been asking for. And Al Golden seems to be
Von Bell also.
Yeah, well, the contract's up. I can't see.
I mean, I'm just saying, take any veteran player that we had during the Super Bowl, especially on the defensive side, and start thinking about it, and think about who's had a decrease in production, and they are cap casualty cuts right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, and Geno Stone, which he talks about the safeties later, so I guess we'll save a little of that. But that's one that, is still, I think, a possibility. He didn't say either way. So you guys got any thoughts on that with the defense? And this kept the Super Bowl talent. Well, where's Reeder and Bates, two of the best ones?
I mean,
well,
go ahead, Derek.
I was just going to say, from what I took on that, it sounded like he said that he was admitting, in my opinion, to making the mistake of not bringing those guys back. And, admitting that, what do they say? Admission of guilt or admission of whatever is the first step. So it sounds to me like they're going to, I'm thinking honestly, and he says it even further, they're going to try like hell.
12-step program, Derek? I don't know nothing about that.
12-step program. They're going to try like hell to get Trey Hendrickson back, and the pieces that I think are key pieces on the defense, they're going to try to get back and bolster the line, stuff like that. So
now the fear is you read it the other way and you say, well, we got to get production out of young guys, and it might not work out with Trey. We're going to load him. But I mean, we'll get more into Trey, right? More comments on him directly later. But Dustin, don't get your hopes up that Logan Wilson's gone. I know you said we love him, but the linebacker coach, the D coordinator, everybody has talked about Logan Wilson. Pratt, not so much. Logan Wilson is here next year. I put a guarantee on that one. Almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look at Logan Wilson, the way he played under Al Golden. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping, well, I bet that was Matt, but thank you for buying a shirt. I'm just guessing. Somebody bought a shirt. I'll bet it was Matt. Thank you. Without looking. But I'm hoping that Al Golden can bring our linebackers back to what we had in the Super Bowl, although I do feel like Pratt could be a cut. I'd like to keep Wilson. Wilson played really good for several years for us, and the best years he had was with Al Golden, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So I'm totally good. Yeah, I knew it. Thank you. I'm totally good with running Logan Wilson back for another year. I don't want to get rid of Logan Wilson. I don't want to get rid of both of our linebackers.
I agree.
I'm not even against getting rid of Pratt. I mean, I would be okay with keeping Pratt under Al Golden. Let's see what he can get out of him, because these linebackers were good for us before. Pratt needs to be not 3-down linebacker, though. He needs to be the 2-down. He's out third down, he's out. He needs to go back when he was playing good.
Yeah.
When he was playoff P, he was a 2-down guy.
Boom. That's exactly what I'm saying. So that's what the fuck you need. And he didn't come back on a mega deal. So we could afford to keep him at the price that he has in that role if he'd stepped up and did a better job at it. What do you think, Dale?
Well, Greg had something.
Oh, go ahead, Greg. My bad.
No, I don't matter. It's okay. And I'm just kidding. But no. Anyway, we've done this in the Marvin era. We've done this in so many eras. We look back what they've done for the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy and all that and stuff. But you got to look what they're going to do for you in the future. You can't look by what they did for you in the past.
Exactly.
It just doesn't work that way in a business, unfortunately. I mean, if you guys think differently, I would understand.
Well, but it's also like, what are they doing now? Like Hubbard was never dominant for his salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Hubbard now is like certainly not. So there's literally no reason. And I just hope, some of these comments actually got me a little excited that, hey, the cuts we think could happen, but we'll see.
Exactly.
Time will tell.
That's exactly how I read it, Dale.
Yeah, exactly.
The cuts that we wanted.
And so to get into that, the next question is, where does retooling the defense start? So I will read a lot of this because, how many top guys at every position can you pay on a team? That's what we're going to have to decide. So that still worries me about Trey, just hearing that. Yeah, how much of the money gets funneled into the guys that really produced and away from guys that maybe didn't? This is where I say Sam Hubbard, Sheldon Rankins, potentially Geno Stone.
Who the fuck produced?
Jermaine Pratt produced stats, but a lot of missed tackles. So that one is still iffy, like we talked about before to me.
Exactly.
Missed tackles.
But there's not a player in our locker room that I don't believe in. Not a single player I don't like and believe in and have a ton of respect for. But we're going to have to make some hard decisions. Sam Hubbard.
Yeah.
Because Sheldon Rankins to me is not a hard decision. Boy. Sam Hubbard, Geno Stone, Jermaine Pratt, you can call them hard decisions for different reasons. You can say the performance, what do they get out of Stone and Pratt? And then with Hubbard, it's just the Cincinnati connection, my opinion. And we're reading way too much into this, but what else are we going to do? It's the offseason, baby. The dynamic of who is making it and who isn't, and where the young guys and where the new guys fit in. That's what we're going to have to decide. I was pleased with some of the new guys that got to play later in the season, especially on the defensive line. And that was a theme throughout, and his interview with Hobson I seen, where he specifically was talking about McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins, and my guy, Cedric Johnson, is part of those plans. Also talked about Miles Murphy, Cam Taylor-Britt bouncing back. Said guys like DJ Ivey showed they could play. Jordan Battle in the mix to be the safety, one of the starters. So what are your thoughts on those quotes and that question? And we'll start with you, BSG, because I don't even know if Derek heard half of it.
You know what? I got to think about this one. I'll think about this one. Shop, you go ahead. That's a good one.
That was a good one. Isn't it the same question as before? We're talking about cutting the players.
Yeah.
Hard decisions, but the young guys at the end, like how do you retool that defense?
Oh, well,
the young guys basically having to step up.
Question
and the defensive line guys, your guy Chris Jenkins.
When you were talking about player development, that's what it is. Hindsight's fucking 20/20. So you can't go back, Bob. That's a line from Walking Dead. But anyway, you can't go back. So you can only move forward. What the fuck are we supposed to do? This is the hand we got dealt. Do we run it back through with the same players and do the same thing again? Fuck no. So you just got to take your licks, do what you're supposed to do, and hopefully you can develop Chris Jenkins. Hopefully you can develop Cedric Johnson. Hopefully you can develop what's fucking 93, McKinley Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can develop these guys, but you can't fucking go and stay the same. So literally what happened here is there is no choice. This is what you get, fucking Al Golden. Make it work. No choice. You get to select between A or A. Please pick A.
And Chop, like you said, it's all about development. And the reason why Lou lost his job is because he did not give. He just couldn't develop these young rookies. I don't want to hear. We drafted defense heavily the last couple of years, and they just really haven't come along. I mean, some of them have produced, but not like we hoped it would. Al Golden, man, Al Golden is really, really going to have to really come out and show us right here. I mean, Zach Taylor, I think we all agree he's on the hot seat next year. Joe Brady, Buffalo offensive coordinator. You don't think that he's thinking, hey, if Zach Taylor doesn't work out, I'm going to get a phone call here the year after?
Zach Taylor gets fired next year. Al Golden's our new head coach. I'm telling you, that dude, when I watch him talk, he talks like a head coach. He's got the Bengal connection. It all makes sense.
I don't see that just because of Zach has really hitched his wagon to Al Golden, being neighbors, being this, being that. Yeah. That if Zach gets fired, and that's the thing. But let's just be honest. Zach's not getting fucking fired.
No. But, I mean, Al Golden's not going to pass up the chance to be one of the 32 head coaches in the NFL.
No, but I'm saying it wouldn't be a
brother,
good look. It wouldn't be a good look for the Bengals to fire Zach and promote Golden.
Bengals are okay with doing shit that ain't a good look.
The year after,
that's true. That's fair.
But I love Zach. I love what he's done here. But if we don't make the playoffs, I don't care if we have another 9-8 season and barely miss the playoffs. I'm sorry. I love Zach, but.
Well, Derek, I'll kick this one to you. We'll go on to the next question because, like I said, there's a lot to get through here because I want to get through at least most of the quotes. Evaluation of the D-line and what's the plan to fix the pass rush? Thank you for asking that question because even if it's a bullshit answer or whatever you get here, at least you ask it. So he talked about the 3 defensive linemen again. They come in and play pretty well. Gives hope going forward, blah, 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 blah. You need more pass rush. Get yourself in pass rush situations more than we did. Well, you didn't have any pass rush. Play with the lead, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. We weren't putting ourselves in those situations, but here's the part where it says, but toward the end of this, but we need help on the interior defensive line. And he talked about 2 of those guys already, so he must see that we need some pass rush still there. And we need more pass rush. We're going to have to evaluate how we played on the 2nd and 3rd level and who is going to be back for us and who isn't. So once again, I think that's alluding to Sam's probably gone. Rankins is gone. BJ maybe not back. But they're still going to need to add to the pass rush. And we all know that. But it's good to hear them realize it because they don't always do it. So go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, the first thing I took until I continued to read that was like when he said that we need to be in more pass rushing situations. I'm like, oh, you mean like the 3rd and 15 where you dropped everyone and only rushed 3? Like that shit. I'm like, you had some key 3rd down pass rushing situations that you guys chose not to do it. So, but like you said, he continued talking, and it sounds to me like they're going to look for some key guys on the first couple of days of the free agency and try to get some guys in that are major pass rush, that have like major pass rushing chops. You know what I mean? So I was excited to hear that.
I don't know. To me, it's almost more draft, but that's just how I took it. Is like they know they're going to have to draft some pass rushers.
Who, Derek?
To go along with
Give
the
me
money
an example
comments.
Of what tier pass rusher you're talking about. You feel like personally yourself that they would bring in on free agency.
Well, I mean, first of all, I got to really look into it and see who's out there. But if Osai is like one of those guys that's like at the top of the list, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe free agency isn't the place to go in looking for that. But
right,
I could see some guys being available out there, like, and maybe like we all keep saying, maybe a guy like Chase Young changes scenery, but he really hasn't shown having that pass rush prowess other than what he did at Ohio State. But.
Right, exactly.
Give me Milton Williams.
Yeah, that's probably a dream, but I will continue to dream until he's off the market with you, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's going to be commanding Dale, he's probably going to be commanding way out of the Bengals because he knows he's going to get a bag somewhere. But
90.6 pass rush grade per PFF, 25 years old for the regular season. But I'll throw out some others. Levi on Wuzarike, easy for me to say. 64.7 pass rush grade, which was a little better than BJ Hill. Calais Campbell, maybe you get him on the 1 year finally. Osa Odigizua, 77.6. Tyre Tart. Do they go back down that path?
Right.
Probably not. But there's some other guys too. Bobby Brown from the Rams. I know our buddy Ryan has mentioned. So that's just a few names. You know, if they dip their toes in those waters, I imagine it'll be for a little cheaper option with some upside. But I definitely think it's more draft. So anybody got anything else on those comments?
Yeah, let's get Geno Atkins out of retirement right now.
Yeah. I don't think Geno Atkins out of retirement is going to do very good. He's been retired for a while.
Better than what we have right now, but
I don't know about that.
Our guy Fuzzy Balls with a super chat. Appreciate it, brother. $2. $2 make a holla.
$2
stat of the day. T only had 2 drops last season. Hell yeah. I like it. Good stat of the day.
That is a good stat.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, T.
They did ask Tobin, what is the problem starting slow next season? That is literally the next question. So you put it
there you go.
How do you fix the slow starts at the beginning of the season? I did not believe we played very well against New England. Well, no shit. Oh, my God.
That's why this guy's got a job in the NFL.
And that was disappointing to see. Oh, my God. I still think we should have won the game at the end. We didn't make the plays that matter. But you don't want to play on a razor-thin margin like that. And basically everything that all the coaches have said, even Al Golden when he came in, he said the same thing. That's something Zach's looking at. That's something all our coaches and those of us upstairs are trying to look and see what can be changed. So we got nothing about that.
Right.
I say you practice fucking harder. You play a little more in the preseason. Can you just say that? And Al Golden did say that. Al Golden said, I think you got to prepare the way you're going to play, and we're going to practice hard. So he said it more than Tobin. Any thoughts on that? That was kind of not an answer.
That was a diversion. Diversion from the answer.
So next is what sank the season. This is just kind of whatever. They could have won the championship this year. Blah, blah, blah. No one wanted to see us. That's a respect we have from the rest of the league.
We got that respect. Put that on your.
That wasn't something they wanted. Did we belong in the group? Yes. Did we earn our way there? We did not, because we had critical errors at the end of the games, period. That's what sank the season. So, once again, I get nothing from that one. How about you guys?
Yeah, write that down. Nobody wanted to see us in the end of the season, and go hang that on your mom's fucking refrigerator. Yeah. Good. Pat on the back. Nobody wanted to see us in the playoffs. That's just as good as going to the Super Bowl.
We'll move on. The style in which you played games last year, what needs to be fixed? We'll retool. Elements of our team that we have to get better at. Have to play better defense. Have to run the ball a little better, you know. That goes hand in hand with playing defense. And we'll make those decisions as we go forward. We're going to have additions there, and that was talking about it's not a pay problem. He's talking about how much they paid guys. But I think, again, it goes back to the D-line. It's a decision to stay with guys you know that have been with us through really good times. It probably won't be that way this year. Bye, Sam Hubbard.
Bye-bye.
That's all I get from that one. How about you guys?
Right. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Pick a player and hope that it's him, because
who's here for the good times?
Believing they're going to get rid of the hometown hero.
I think that goes to him and Pratt, because you're talking about defense. You're talking about guys that was here through the good times. Pratt had that interception.
Shit, you can talk about Kappa. Kappa wasn't here during the Super Bowl, but he can include him. I know that ain't defense, but take his ass with him, and Volson, if you ask me. But
the one that worries me is Mike Hilton. I feel like that could be on him too.
I feel the same way.
That's fair.
That's the one I don't want cut is Mikey.
Well, he's a free agent, so he won't be cut. It's just they probably are not going to.
Don't let him test the market. Just give him a deal that he can try to take and stay here in Cincinnati. I think he likes Cincinnati. I think if we gave him a decent deal, didn't try to fucking undercut him real bad, he might want to stay here. Cincinnati's a good destination, man. They know if they believe in themselves with the defense, they can win a ring. Unless he's goes to one of these other hot teams like Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, New England. Not New England, but Washington Commanders. Or
he'll go back to Pittsburgh.
Or Pittsburgh. Well, I'm just saying, unless he's got a better shot somewhere else. The guy's already a millionaire. I understand this generational wealth and making what you can, but after a while, you're fucking set. You're set up, man. Your kids are set up as long as they budget well. So get a fucking ring and do it here in Cincinnati. And that goes out across the entire NFL for every player that wants to come here as a free agent. Call like Orlando Brown did and come on.
Yep.
Yeah. The next thing is what are the chances you'll be able to keep Chase and Higgins? It's going to be hard. Feel like we have the resources to do it, but it all depends on how the negotiation goes and whether they're willing to accept wanting to come back at a number that makes sense for everybody. Obviously, talks about wanting him here, wants him to be a piece. Let's find something that works for everybody. He is a guy we want to have here. Hopefully they can come together, but we have other guys who are trying to take big bites of the apple. So we went from pie to apple, taking big bites of the apple and not Eli.
Is that because? Oh, that's. Well, I just wondered if there's a New York connection, but no.
mean,
big bites of the apple. I mean, who's the other guy? It's only Trey. You really don't have other guys. Like, let's be honest, you don't.
Well, I mean, he's talking both sides of the ball, though, right?
Well, maybe
he might be talking about Mike Hilton. He could be talking about Mike Hilton wanting a bite. He could be talking about Cam Taylor-Britt's contracts coming up. He might want a bite. B.J. Hill wins his contract. When do we have to re-sign B.J. Hill?
Now. He's a free agent.
He might want a fucking bite.
Well, it also could be free agents they're targeting that might want to bite.
Yeah, but that's not. But that's not. But we have other guys, so you already have them who are trying to take big bites of the apple. Big bites to me. Big bites of the apple would be like a Trey Henderson. So are you saying you can only keep Chase and Higgins if you can't work out something with Trey? I don't know. No, I'm not saying that because but that's just
somebody said Eagles are paying 5 players on their team over $20 million a year.
But they're getting a lot of production from a bunch of rookie contracts too. But guess what? We got to do the same. You got to find that balance. We've invested a lot of resources, but we weren't playing them. So that's kind of the hope. You still got to develop.
Yeah, you have to develop the young.
But you can't lose a Trey Henderson. You can't lose.
It sounds. I don't know. It's like Lou Anarumo was like, well, it worked with these guys. We're going to get these new guys in, but we already know these guys did it one time. So let's just keep bashing our fucking head against the wall and seeing if it works again. And no disrespect to Lou Anarumo.
Another thing in there was, and Derek, I'll toss this one to you. We have to be able to come together with this representation. And this is about T on what that means, what the right number is for his experience, for his play time, and for his production. Well, the experience and the production have been good. It's just the play time, which I say escalators. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, you can do what we did with. I'm trying to remember the tackle that we signed a deal with. It was like basically pay to play. If you're not on the field, you're not getting paid. And I think, honestly, T's contract should be structured that way because he's just not that's been his only fault this entire time has been hit because every time he's out there and fuzzy balls, I know you're in here and T's going to send me a strongly worded letter, I'm sure, but his only fault is that he's not been on the field.
And
Chris Crowley, though, after this says, Lale Collins, is that the tackle you're thinking about, the pay to play that we didn't pay much? Well, we didn't pay him fucking $5 because he didn't play.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to use Chat, GPT, or DeepSeek and draft better than you. Fill in attributes and needs. And boom. Let me do your drafting. Bye-bye, Dookie.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
You know what I'm going to do, Dale? I'm going to send a $5 donation to Project Game Day, and I'm going to buy a draft guide for Duke Tobin. And I want you to email Duke Tobin a draft guide so he can – at least it's on his desk. At least we did our part. He can take a look into these prospects. It's a minimum donation of $5. You can go to Bengals and Brews Twitter page or Project Game Day and find a link. $5 to get you the draft guide Dale does. Or how many? 300 and how many?
So that's over 350 pages.
Over 350 pages.
I was about to say that actually would be really funny. We should probably do that.
Yes.
It would go immediately to his deleted and blocked sender.
Right.
And Fuzzy with a donation here, our guy. Fuzzy balls. One thing I know is if T goes, Joe will be pissed. I agree. Mm-hmm. And that's I think T has to get worked out, but it's also like basically reading the tea leaves are like we want him back. We definitely want him back. They need to work with us, a negotiation. If he hits the open market, he can get more money. He's got to come back at a price that works for everybody, as in us. They want to be back enough to come back to stay with Joe and Jamar. And that is honestly what it will boil down to.
Yeah. And it also sounded to me, and I can't remember if this was T or Trey. I'm pretty sure it was T. That Mulligetta just basically didn't entertain anything that they had to throw out there. So, like, they're just hoping that this next, whoever his representation is now, like, just comes to the table.
It's the same as Joe. And Jamar. Don't they have the same agent, Joe and Jamar?
I don't think Joe does, but
oh no, Jamar and T now do.
Oh, well, and Zeke Natty, right, Greg? That's right, Ezekiel Elliott. So I honestly felt a lot better about T getting signed before Duke's article today because he threw a little shade. I felt like it was almost 100% that he was going to get signed. But I want to point out too, and I don't know if you're going to get to this, but later in the article, Kelsey asked Duke about if he talks to Joe in the offseason, and Duke says, yeah, I talk to Joe every offseason. He comes in, he tells me what he thinks we need. I tell him what I think we need. I tell him what I think that we can get done in the parameters. He tells me his thoughts, and we usually agree on things. So this whole T thing, I'm sure, has been a topic in Duke Tobin's office between him and Joe Burrow. I know Joe Burrow's stance on it, but guess what? Joe Burrow doesn't write the checks.
Which is, where does Joe Burrow's voice factor into all these decisions? I talk to Joe every offseason. You guys talked, yeah. Right. I get feedback from him, try to give him my thoughts. It's all about finding a contract that works for both. If we're really engaged with his representation at doing that, I think we can get it done. So that goes specifically back to T. But if there's no engagement to get something done that makes sense. So what Mulligetta was asking for, in other words, never made sense. That's why they couldn't get something done. It's going to be very difficult. And we'll have to see what other avenues we have. Well, other avenue is you're fucked if you lose T. Higgins and you pissed off Joe, whether you want to say it or not. Thoughts on any of those comments? Because we were kind of talking about them.
I mean, I pretty much gave my thoughts before you read it.
Right.
My thoughts, I mean, it depends on coming to agreement. It depends on what that agreement is. They could be $1 million apart, or they could be $5 or $10 million apart. Like our crowd is pointing out, is the fact that T switched agents just shows you how dedicated he is to wanting to stay here. Doesn't mean it's 100%, but that means a lot. That's definitely, Mulligetta, who's the top agent in the league, getting all the top money for all of his clients, shows you a lot right there how badly T wants to stay here.
What's the first day they can do the tag?
I'm not sure. Probably when the new league year starts, I imagine.
If they don't,
the deadline is what, a week before free agency, or
if they don't have T signed by then, they should 100% put the tag on him because they should not let him talk to any other team or he will be gone.
They'll tag him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they don't tag him and they let him test free agency, T. Higgins will not be playing here next year.
The tea leaves that I read from that little script was nothing but fuck you, Mulligetta.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Who we got left on his staff? Anybody? Isn't Trey Henderson with Mulligetta?
Well, no, Dale.
No. Cam Taylor-Britt is. Osai is. Osai's a free agent.
Huh.
Next one is, are you planning to give Trey Henderson an extension this offseason? Just point blank ask him that.
Right.
You don't just give an extension.
Yeah, right.
You have to agree on an extension. We would like to get Trey extended, yes. He's an important part that played well for us, right? We can't have guys at the top of the payroll in every position, right? We'll do what we can. We'll do what we feel is right, and we'll try to get Trey re-signed. It's not giving anybody an extension. It's agreeing with somebody on an extension. Has he earned a pay raise and bumping an extension? He has. And we were cognizant of that, and we will give that to him. But whether we agree on what that looks like is what is to be determined. That doesn't sound great to me. It's like, hey, we want him, but we know he wants more because he requested a trade last offseason because of this very reason. So you guys tell me.
I mean, I was just going to say, it sounded to me like he was like, Kelsey, come on. You can't just give somebody an extension.
Right.
Like, that's not how this works. Don't you know that? You have to agree upon it. Like,
man. You just put a note. You just send him a memo like you got extended. You're here till the year 2029.
Like Kelsey didn't already know that. That I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, that's just common sense. And this goes back to what I was trying to say. He's not going to say stuff like, oh, yeah, we're very committed. We're going to get Trey Henderson deal signed. We're going to get this done. You just can't say that type of stuff because then if it doesn't get done, you're going to look even more, oh my God,
Right.
That's just my personal take. I mean, like, it's simple. Both have to come to an agreement. Depends on what the number is, what Trey's looking for.
Yeah. And if he says, yes, we're going to extend him, Trey's representation is thinking cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yep.
Well, I feel like Trey's probably upset about being the fucking lone wolf out there. And so maybe part of his decision on what he'll settle on to stay here or go elsewhere depends on what they do in this offseason to prove to him, just like they need to prove to Joe, prove to Trey what they're going to do to help him out. And so if Trey thinks he's getting the help that he needs, maybe he takes a little bit lesser dollar amount because he's chasing the ring. And he's got a good fit here. Well, I mean, his good fit was with Lou, so we'll see how he does with Al Golden. Trey's at the top of his game, so bringing in a new defensive coordinator, I don't know how that's going to affect his game. But I do think that it comes into his mind, what do they do this offseason that makes me want to play here versus somewhere else for more money? What do you think?
I think it's all about money. I think Trey wants his bag. Two phenomenal seasons with sack production out through the roof. I think it will all come down to money with him. And they're being careful with what they say, as they probably should, like you guys mentioned, because like Derek said, cha-ching, cha-ching, if you say, yeah, we're just going to guy and give him the moon.
Right.
We're still in the moon.
Yeah. Don't worry. A deal will be done 100%. We're not letting them walk.
But I do think this one could get ugly where he's under contract and they know and he knows it. An extension has to be had or there will be a holdout. So like Sinistri said, he could go from blackout Trey to holdout Trey.
Yep. And then he'll end up in Indy.
And then the next question is, where do things stand with Jamar in an extension? Priority for us. Something we feel like there's a framework for. It should have been done last year. You fucked that one up. Got a framework to work off of. Guys in his position have recently redone contracts. He's very important, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they think there's a framework to work with. Now, when he talked to Hobson, I think I seen where he said something about the highest paid non-quarterback contract, and they realized that might be the price.
Yeah.
And, that's okay. So, basically, we will get a contract with Jamar if we do nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, though, because they need to sign Jamar, and I think they will sign Jamar. I just wonder what the thing is. And then the other thing that I had a question about signing Jamar, I could have swore that I read somewhere that they save money if they sign him after August 1st.
I'm not sure.
So that
it would make sense, Chap, because in the fact that's when we do get their contracts done.
Well, that means there's probably going to be another hold-in because camp will start before that.
Hey, Chap, you remember what happened when Chase held in camp last year? Everybody was concerned. Hey, let's get the Triple Crown once again for Jamar Chase.
You're right, I guess. Fuck it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking to myself. Everybody's freaking out. Hey, let's do it again because we know he's not going to get hurt or anything.
You know he's under contract.
But when they're not spending free agency money because they're like, well, our priority is Jamar Chase, but we're not going to do it now for 5 months. They're helping the roster by not.
Yeah, you're right.
That's it.
I wonder what's the savings if I'm right, and I did read. Maybe somebody in the chat knows if we would save money, like depending on when we signed Jamar Chase.
Well, I say fuck that.
I do know that no matter what he signs this year, none of that
because they get their welfare check.
If he does, I'll say this: when he does sign this year. None of that is going to go against the cap for this year. So if you're wanting to sign some older veteran guys on one-year deals, that won't account for that at all. So we don't really have to worry about that much. But if you're going to sign guys that, like young guys like that, Milton Williams, people, somebody like that, then you're going to have to take that into account.
The next one was, how do you get Cam Taylor-Britt back on track? He was on trajectory to be one of the top corners. Don't see flaws. Thinks he needs to get his confidence back. It means a lot to him. He's competitive. But maybe a change of philosophy, change of scenery, a new voice will get him going again. But we believe in Cam. Basically, I hope Al Golden can have Cam back at the top of his game. That's it. They still believe in him.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you all this. I mean, we all had our different opinions about this, but like before the season started, I told you guys I consider Cam the second most important player behind Joe on this team. I really was expecting a big year. Now he started out a little slow. Man, he got benched, but near the end of the year, though, man, I think Dale, didn't he have his best PFF grade season this year, pretty much?
I think so. It was mainly there at the end. Yeah. I still believe in him.
And I do too, but it makes me nervous that Lou had to dumb down the defense to get them playing better, and that includes Cam's spot. He dumbed it down. So they started playing better when he dumbed it down. That makes me worry a little bit, like, why was Cam doing so good? I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm not super worried about Cam. I thought he was picking it up at the end of the season. Second half of the season, he looked a lot better.
Yeah.
But I do worry about all the defensive players when I know that Lou had to dumb down the defense to get them to play better.
It just seemed like the communication was the biggest thing with the defense, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and getting Xavier Watts.
And also in defense with the corners, when you're playing a prevent defense, I don't care how good of a cover corner you are. Somebody's going to get open. When you have all that time to throw, somebody's going to run around, get open all the time. So I'm not going to hold the defensive backs did a decent job of when you're playing prevent defense, somebody is going to get open eventually, which is my opinion.
And the next one was Miles Murphy and Derek. He says, the question was, how do you get more production out of Miles? And basically still believes in him. And more playing time, better. Well, no shit. We all thought that would be good. But he needs to finish better. Also something we all agree with. But he's got big hopes for Miles. So basically, this is a big year for Miles Murphy in general, going into his third year. So we'll go to you, Derek, then to Chop and Greg. I got to check on my dog.
Yeah, I mean, they like you said, Dale. The main thing he needs to work on is finishing strong, and you work on that during the off season. So hopefully he goes somewhere and gets the training he needs and can improve his pass rush capabilities, because I do still I think there's a high ceiling for Miles, and I hope we get to see it. But no, the one thing that I read on that I liked hearing was when he was talking about, guys like Miles Murphy are kind of like a running back where you have to give him more than just 35% of the snaps. He's a guy that he needs to be out there playing more to build up that steam and get going. So hopefully we see him getting a lot more snaps this year.
Give you my Chuck, you want to go ahead?
No, I just was seeing if Miles Murphy had any sacks this year, and he did not. He did not have any sacks this year. But I read an interesting stat about Trey Hendrickson his first 2 years in the NFL, and his sack production was very low. So I still go back to, I think that there has been a fucking major lack of player development. The only players that are even playing well for us are the players that we had playing well for us before, that we hit on in free agency. These new players, there's no player development. Who's the new players on the defensive side of the ball that are outstanding? Who is it?
Mm-hmm. Here's my
there is nobody, right? What's on your paper?
This right here, big question mark right
here.
Yeah,
there is nobody. So my whole thing goes back to player development. I don't think this is a Miles Murphy problem. I don't think it's a Joseph Osai problem. I think that it's a coaching problem. We have got the top 3 rounds of the draft for the last 3 years have been focused on the defense, and we don't have shit to show for it. So that's on coaching.
Yeah, it's been like eight of the last 10 picks in the first 3 rounds.
That's what I'm saying. So this is on coaching. We got good players. They just haven't been developed. I'm not against keeping these young players and seeing what we can get with Al Golden out of him and our new coaching staff.
You look at Mike Zimmer. I mean, he even guys in the later rounds, he knew how to get the best out of. Mike Zimmer was great at developing players. I mean, the defense that he had that was so good, he developed pretty much each and every one of those players. He never got any big name free agents on his team or anything at that time. It's all about, like John said.
I don't know if Mike Brown and Duke realized that we had free agency back then.
They probably did.
Right.
We just had the draft.
The next one is, how do you get better guard play?
You get new guards.
Get new guards.
This one's been frustrating a little bit because he talks about development and stuff and a new O-line coach, but he does say they need to add people there. So it's like he's talking a little bit out of both sides, and I get it. You don't want to be like, we're doing this, we're doing that. But I'll read some of the quotes here. The way we play it requires a firm pocket. We've hired a new offensive line coach. We believe in him. He's an impressive guy. Hopefully there could be some improvements made technique-wise. We're going to add to the position. That's important. For sure, there will be competition at those positions. Hello, Cody Ford. You're competing for a starting guard spot. It's going to happen. He's going to be competing for a starting guard spot. Maybe just with Volson. And you're going to hope to improve one other one. I just see that I would improve both without Cody Ford. Cody Ford would be a backup. But I'm telling you what's going to happen right now. It's going to be Cody Ford and Cordell Volson competing for starting left guard. And they're going to bring in free agency or the draft a right guard to compete also with Cody Ford.
Hey, that right guard could be that guy from LSU you pointed out, man. That dude was a beast, wasn't he?
Yeah, Miles Frazier. I like him a lot.
Yeah. What round? You got him in second or third round?
Third now. But I had him fourth, but I got to bump him up, man. He's played all 4 line spots except center. So he's played 4 out of the 5 line spots.
Or
Florida International before 3 years at LSU.
If we're talking about guards, let me ask you this. When Zeitler left, did he talk shit about us or what? Why the fuck we don't run it back with Zeitler?
He didn't. He wanted to be here.
Chop.
I mean, so bring him back. He's a free agent.
He wanted to be here. A guy I know really well told me he wanted to come. Him and his wife did not want to leave Cincinnati. When that year we won the Super Bowl, we had a chance to get him back, and we wouldn't go up a couple million.
What year did we win the Super Bowl?
We went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, we went to the Super Bowl.
We should have won the Super Bowl.
We should have won the Super Bowl. But no. Thanks a lot, Chop. I'm just kidding. But no. Kevin Zeitler, Chop, yeah, I agree with you. Get him back here.
Didn't he grade out as one of the top 5 guards in the NFL this year?
A couple million when the Ravens got him.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't this guy stay on a team, though? He's so good.
I don't.
So, Derek, how do you interpret this next part? We're going to continue working with the guys we have on the roster. We're going to try to evaluate how to get better with guys that currently are on the roster, and whether that's young guys from the draft, whether that's free agents. We'll look at all options, but we're going to add to that group. We're definitely going to add to that group. It better be at least 2 guys not named Cody Ford that's added. What are your thoughts, Derek?
Yeah, the way I read into it is, and I know we want guys from free agency, but since he's at the draft, and all I've heard is how awesome the offensive lines have been playing. The way I'm reading into it, it sounds like they're going to try to pick somebody up in the draft and maybe sign one guy in free agency.
I got a solution.
Bobby Hart.
Oh, Jesus.
Mouth of the South?
Greg's lost his mind.
No, I'm kidding. But no. Hey, maybe we'll finally realize you need to – how long does it take for them to realize you need to play guard? You need to pay guard?
Yeah, apparently forever.
I mean,
Chris
says we lost the Super Bowl because of the guard. Granted, Aaron Donald's the best interior defensive lineman of all time, but still, if we had a halfway decent guard, who knows what would have happened.
Left tackle, too. Left tackle, don't forget.
Yeah, well, that whole line was a shit show, to be fair. Chris says, I'd pay 2 and draft 1. And I agree. I'd pay 2 and draft 1 within the top 4 rounds. 5 minimum, but third or fourth round, I better have a guard from the draft, period. And then and I'm okay if paying 2 means one of those is Cody Ford, because he can back up 4 spots. But I'm bringing him back as a backup. I am signing a guy, and I'm letting Cody Ford compete with the guy drafted in the third or fourth. Let's say it's the third. If it's a first or second round guy, that guy's starting. Fuck it. I felt good enough to draft him in the top 2 rounds at guard. That motherfucker's starting, period. But if it's a third or fourth round guy, Cody Ford can compete with them. But I done signed somebody else. Patrick McCarry. We're going to keep saying that one because we're going to speak it into existence.
Dale, didn't Cody Ford play pretty admirably at left guard when he came in last year after when they benched Cordell Volson?
And him and Orlando are boys, so having
yeah,
those two
they
on the
went
left
to
side
school
wouldn't-
together. Fuck,
wouldn't
they
be a
went to
terrible
Oklahoma
thing.
together.
Hey, Dale, back to the comments. This Lampkin guy, this guy seems like he's been the star of the Senior Bowl practice right now.
He hasn't been the star. I'd say Gray Zabel on the offensive line for North Dakota
Zabel,
State,
yeah, that's
even
right.
though that scares the hell. It's
Let
up
me
and
ask
down
you-
for
let me ask you a
Lampkin.
question
Lampkin
here.
is 5'10", 270. It would be a huge outlier to be 5'10", 270 and play offensive line. The shortest offensive lineman is 6'2" in the NFL right now.
Holy shit.
He's 5'10".
But Dale, isn't this the same 5'10" guy that just
270 pounds would be the second thinnest offensive lineman in NFL history.
So he's 270, 5'10".
Yes.
I'm
He's
out.
a pit bull. Like
I know, but
I can't
man,
quit him, but it would be a
would you
huge
draft
outlier.
him?
Is that the one that just
fifth,
owned
sixth
the-
round? Maybe I'd take a flyer on him just because he's a dog, and I would say, shit, I'm using you as an extra line. And he said, I'm willing to do whatever.
Or what about fullback?
Extra lineman,
Because he knows he's 5'10".
Yes, he knows how.
He
tall
doesn't
he is.
give a shit. He'll run the ball.
Fullback.
I love him. I love him. I'm rooting for the kid because here's something. He only got to play NCAA football at North Carolina because one of the coaches on the staff for North Carolina went to the head coach and he said, I'm not going to tell you how big this guy is. I want you to watch the tape first, because if I tell you how big he is, you're not going to offer him a scholarship.
Yeah.
Coach watched the tape, offered him a scholarship. He was a 5-year starter, started from day one, 5,000 career snaps, elite PFF grades basically every year. So
for North Carolina, which is a good school.
Yes. Block for Drake May, you know. It's crazy.
He play left or right guard?
He's played center and he's played guard.
I mean, that's not bad for center can be short, right? I mean, that dude, how do you get leverage on a 5'10" guy, though? How do you get under that?
Well, Dale, you said he.
Uh-oh.
Look at that face. Though.
I don't know what I said, but I said
is
it.
that the same? Isn't that the same guy that just handled Deion Walker?
Well, I don't know if that was a pass rush drill or a gap filling drill or what that was. So I don't want to like shit on that, but it is hard. There was people like Daniel Jeremiah and them said Deion Walker struggled in that first practice because it's hard to get like Deion Walker's 6'7". This guy's 5'10". But you're also 6'7", 340, and this guy's 270. This guy's giving up 70 pounds and holding his own against Deion Walker.
It's like fighting your kid. Hey, let me ask you this. I have a question. So my question is that let's just say that along the lines of free agency, 2 free agent guards, 1 in the draft. My question is that if you're picking which guard position and take Cordell Volson and Alex Kappa's name out of it. Let's just say left and right guard with the rest of the line we got with Karras in the middle and then Brown and Mims, right? Which position would you put the experienced player at free agency? The better free agent, would you go left guard or right guard at this point?
I would go, well, probably right guard for Mims to answer your question, honestly, but I'm going to say both because like Chris said, it could be a Dalton Risner at left guard and it could be a Kevin Zeitler at right guard. And it's not going to break the bank, and they're probably 1-2 year deals max.
Dude, there's a cleanup now in aisle pants.
Oh.
When you said Risner and fucking Zeitler, oh, come on.
And then you draft a guy to develop in the 4th round.
That's why I'm sending a fucking copy of your draft guide to Duke. I mean, it doesn't cover free agency, but maybe you can expand that next year.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back to this. Geno Stone, Jordan Battle played. There were reflection in the whole unit. Inconsistent. Tackling left a lot to be desired, to be honest. And that's your last line of defense. That has to be a consistent tackling group.
Boom.
Both of them played better and will play better. See, that makes me think Geno might be back, but I have confidence in both of them. We'll see how it all fits together in our new defense with Al Golden. So he's not ruling out Al Golden saying, no, I don't like Geno Stone for my defense.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that Geno Stone plays better on Al Golden's defense than Lou Anarumo's? Because doesn't Al Golden like his players flying around a lot more than and ball hawks? And that's what Geno Stone is, kind of what he was at the Ravens, right?
I mean, I would have to watch more Notre Dame, but to me, Aiden Schuler and Xavier Watts are more do-it-all safeties. And I feel like Geno Stone is not the tackling, which he even brings up. safety, last line of defense. His tackling is not great. His angles, his pursuit angles, all that stuff is not great. Geno is up in the air. I'm not opposed to bringing him back because he played well in the second half. But it really is an Al Golden decision. And I think Duke pretty much says that. So.
Where do you think that Xavier Watts goes? Like what round and about where? What pick?
Well, he's 35th on my board. So I can only say where would I feel comfortable taking that guy between picks 25 and 50. And we pick at 49 and we would trade down.
Is he your second safety or your third?
He's safety 2, but Nicky Mamori is very good too, and he's like 6'3", 2. He's just a different beast. He's like a linebacker / safety.
Doesn't Xavier Watts? Isn't he kind of the green dot for Al Golden at Notre Dame?
Yeah, seems to be.
So I can see them putting a little bit more weight on Xavier Watts to come in here and help get this defense going with Al Golden.
Yeah. Dale, so, all right, what % chance do you think Geno Stone gets cut? If you had to guess right now, what % chance would you think of that happening?
I'll go 45%, 55% he stays just because he played better. And the comments of, I do think both played better. I have confidence in both, and that's from the GM.
Yeah,
the GM. So I'll lean toward the side of he stays.
Okay.
For now.
There you go. For now, yeah,
But hey, maybe this happens. They trade up in the second to get Watts. They take whoever in the first round. They trade up in the second to get Watts. They have done that with Cam Taylor-Britt.
Trade up with our 6 picks.
The problem is
future pick. You can do a future pick. Yep. You can do a future pick, guys. Other teams do it. Like
that is true.
Don't handcuff yourself to what you have right now. So, but yeah, if that happened, then you cut Stone because it's like, well, fuck it. I got Battle and Watts, and those are my guys, and there's no reason to keep you, Geno Stone. At $8 million, I can save 6.5 against the cap. You like to have that money when free agency starts and the decision made, but some guys you do have to wait on to see what happens in the draft, whether you cut them or not. That might be a case where that's what happens. So if Geno Stone is here initially, don't be surprised if he still gets cut after the draft, depending what happens.
Yep. That's good. That's a good point. Like Xavier Watts, bye.
There's one last one, and man, did Duke go in.
Yeah, I know where this one's going.
What has Jermaine Burton done to deserve a spot on the roster? He's done nothing. And he's going to have to start doing something quickly. We knew we were taking a risk. We felt comfortable we could help him through some of the challenges he's had in the past. And we're going to continue to try to help him. But this is professional football. You have to take accountability. You have to be accountable to your teammates, your coaches, the team you're playing for. He has to figure that out. He's got to figure that out fast.
Boom. Tomorrow.
He's a very talented player, and we knew that there were risks in taking him. We knew there were rewards in taking him. We knew what both of those are. We're hoping for the rewards. We're giving him the resources he needs to get to those rewards. But at the end of the day, you can't want it more for somebody than they want it for themselves. And we're hoping Jermaine figures that out.
I 100% agree with that statement. I 100% agree. Like, I really think
I like that from Duke. That was like the best thing he's ever.
Very honest. I do feel like something's going on inside this kid's head. He needs help. He needs therapy. He needs to get over the hump. He's got incredible talent. I would say this, like, if he didn't get drafted by the Bengals, I'm going to be honest. I think that there is a good chance that if he got drafted by the right team for him, he would have had an outstanding fucking rookie year and been able to been a fucking jackass off the field all he wanted to. Like,
yeah, I mean, you like I say, you don't hear Duke, like I was like explaining earlier, you don't really hear Duke say a whole lot, give away a whole lot, but he's like, look, I'm just gonna be honest, Jermaine Burton, that is all up to him.
He's a moron.
He's not think for us. What?
Basically, Duke's like, he's a fucking moron. You can't be a moron. Quit being a moron. Like, it's up to him.
We can help you. It's like this. It's like teaching a kid how to ride a bike. I can give you a push all you want, but you got to pedal.
That's downhill.
Yeah, that too.
Then you need brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I ain't helping you there either.
No.
Yeah, that is the best quote from Duke. Like, I just wish, like, I appreciate, like, just be honest and be upfront about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I do understand when it comes to contracts and stuff, there is only so much you can say. So I'll be honest, reading this full article, I really wasn't annoyed with Duke in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was pretty honest for Duke Tobin.
Yeah.
And I thought he was pretty forthcoming that changes need to be made at guard, at pass rush. They weren't good enough, so staff changes were made. Jermaine Burton needs to get his shit together. They hope to keep the guys that we hope they keep as well. There was really nothing in this article because we shit on Duke Tobin a lot. We think he should face the music more often. I can't shit on Duke Tobin for this.
No,
I really can't.
Because when you see little bits and pieces, some fans get, you get excited a little bit. But when you read the whole article, you're like, oh, this all makes sense. This is why this was said. That's why that was said.
Well, not only that, but this is something that goes above Duke Tobin. This is a culture that's been set in by the Bengals top front office people. Like, you're going to be vanilla. You're not going to say anything on these interviews or else, because it's an ongoing theme through the years that all of our coaches, anybody that speaks to the media, is very fucking vanilla, including the players.
And if they're not, they don't talk too much more.
Nope.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but I don't know, man. I do think he was very forthcoming for Duke Tobin.
Mm-hmm.
I would like this to happen more often.
I mean,
I would like to hear about free agency. How hard did you guys try to add pass rush at free agency? I would still like to know that. I know the season's over, but
Trey, that's the last time they added pass rush in free agency.
And with Trey Hendrickson, I'll be honest with you guys. I just thought that was a Band-Aid because we lost Carl Lawson. I mean, I'm glad I was wrong right there, but I just thought it was a panic signing because we lost out on Carl Lawson.
Well, I think anybody be lying if they said, hey, Trey Henderson's going to be the NFL sack leader for 2 seasons in a row once you sign him. No one's seen that. It was like, that's a good signing, a solid signing. Chop, you seen it?
No, I'm just saying to Travis, like, how are you going to tell me don't be jealous and you're cooking carne asada? I'm fucking jealous.
Yeah.
Travis?
Well, Travis was also fucking in that warm weather when we had 38 inches of snow and I was down here freezing. He was fucking flexing on me, damn it.
He's turning it up. Now he's making carne asada. And here in the fuck I am. I'm about to go make a couple of fried eggs.
I mean, this guy.
Toast.
This guy.
I know. Damn.
No, I thought it was worth doing a show and going through everything Duke said because there's always going to be overreactions. But I was honestly happy once I read that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I thought Kelsey Conway did a great job. Listen, I'm not saying that she always does a great job and she is a Ravens fan or whatever. But I don't have to have my reporters for my team be a fan of the team. It's cool now and again, but when you're not winning, I need somebody that isn't buddy-buddy, that isn't worried about pissing them off,
right?
That could go take a job in another city because they'll ask tough questions. I respect the hell out of it, to be fair.
Absolutely.
What if she went up to Duke and she was like, ha, ha, Ravens beat you twice. How you feel about the defense now? Go ahead.
Yeah,
and then he answered that question. She could be like that. She did.
It's like, first off, Duke, suck my dick. The Ravens own you.
Yeah, Duke. You're going to answer these questions because we fucking own you, bitch.
Wade, I didn't know if we would, but the more it looks like that maybe Pratt's not part of the plan. We don't know if he is or not. We'll know before the draft, though. So I think if they cut him, they're going to cut him early. Out of respect for him, too, to catch on somewhere else.
Hey, let me ask you this, because somebody put a comment on my Twitter thing, Dale, when I did that mock draft, and I had Pierce from Tennessee as my #1 overall pick, and they said we basically got him with Davis Gaither. Is that right?
Not to me, no. Davis Gaither played at Appalachian State, and yeah, he had some pass rush, but he was more undersized than Pierce, didn't have as long of arms, was never going to be a full-time edge. Pierce can be a full-time edge. Does Pierce need to put on a little weight? Sure. But Pierce has way, way more. Like, I don't know, man. People get wild with the things they say.
Right. That's why I waited to talk to my draft expert.
Which I do too. But, and I respect everybody's opinion. But I can also respectfully disagree that your opinion is horse shit.
Yeah. Respectfully, your opinion is shit.
Respectfully, your opinion sucks.
If you say respectfully first, it's okay.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Respectfully, you're dumb as fuck.
Respectfully, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Respectfully, I'm not sure how your brain even fucking supports life. Respectfully.
No, I didn't say all that, but I just say it.
But you could if you said respectfully first.
I could say all that.
Right. If you say respectfully first, it sets the tone.
Oh, yeah. So Sindustries says, Chop, my draft guide representative.
Yes.
Guys based on
like Tonka
Hemingway.
Tonka.
Well, the second round, but I got a first round grade on him now, and he had a good Senior Bowl week too, is Donovan Ezeriku.
Yeah.
From Boston College. 16 and a half sacks. He's undersized, 6'2", but he's got like almost 35-inch arms.
Random
hey
comment.
guys, I gotta hop off here. I gotta go take care of a couple of things. Love you both. Chop, you just gotta start getting better, buddy. Dale, love you too, buddy.
I can concentrate on being awesome. All right.
Kisses.
See you.
See you, bud.
Fuzzy Balls randomly says, respectfully, I like ganja.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Respectfully, I like getting my dick sucked more than eating pussy, but I'll eat pussy. Respectfully.
I like them both. I got to tell you, I'm not.
No, I mean, that's what I said. I like it. It's okay, but respectfully, I would much rather get my dick sucked.
Can't we do it same time?
Yeah, but it doesn't always. It's like, hey, why don't you go down on me? And it's like, why don't you go down on me? And I'm like, bet, I sure will. Because, I mean, why not?
I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Green. Chris is leaning Mike Green. I know you wouldn't be upset about that, would you?
Nope.
Do you think he climbs up? And is he in the first round now?
He's been in the first round. I think for people that's really like watched the tape and didn't just go, Marshall. Oh, he played weak, competent Marshall.
What number is he? What edge is he for you?
He's my third.
Third?
Yeah, he's behind Carter, who I think could go first or second overall, depending if a quarterback goes. He's my first overall player. And then my second edge is Pierce, but it's not a big difference between Pierce and Green, to be honest. Like,
I got to tell you, I keep seeing Carter mocked to Cleveland, but I just feel like they're going to go. How do they not go quarterback when you're that high in the draft?
Because they believe in Deshaun Watson.
They're so fucking stupid. I swear to God.
I know that, but that's.
But at the same time, I don't want fucking Abdul Carter up there opposite fucking Myles Garrett.
I just expect it to happen. That is actually would be the smart thing for them to do, which is the only reason I think maybe it doesn't happen. But what I would expect to happen is they take Abdul Carter. Somebody's gonna the Titans almost have to take a quarterback, and it's probably gonna be Cam Ward. But maybe
they got Will Levis.
Maybe the Titans take Abdul Carter and pair him with Jeffrey Simmons and the rest of those dogs they have as pass rush. But Callahan's an offensive guy. I just can't see him not wanting to take offense, or at least taking Travis Hunter and being like, hey, at least I got Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Play some offense for me and defense.
Well, I'd probably take Cam Ward, or I don't know where they pick at, but what's the draft? Or is it New England and then Cleveland?
No, it's Tennessee with Callahan.
Oh, well, he's take Cam Ward.
Yeah, well, that's what. But they still have Will Levis.
Sorry,
on the roster. But you can't count on
Well, Will Levis wasn't Brian Callahan's guy. So Brian Callahan needs to come in and say, hey, that wasn't my pick, and you guys are fucking stupid. The guy eats bananas with the peels on. It's time to move on. Maybe trade him.
Well, West I'm okay with that. Even if we draft an edge, I still want a free agent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we could lose Osai and Hubbard.
And we're probably losing –
and maybe Sample, Sample, maybe they re-sign Sample, but at the same point in time, I still think Sample would be better as sliding inside as a 3-tech backup. Like, he's not your pass rush guy, per se, on the edge. And I could see Kirk Cousins end up in Cleveland Wade as well.
Oh, God, Derek would love that, wouldn't he?
He would disown Kirk Cousins. He would say, fuck New Balance.
I don't want them to get Gus.
Yeah, they could pick Gus next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could go Drew Aller.
It's actually Garrett.
It'll be interesting. Definitely, I think there's potential for it to be a much better quarterback class next year, but it's all potential right now.
Hey, look, Garrett Nussmeier could go to Cleveland too. I mean, not Cleveland, but Pittsburgh, because we got 2 teams here in the AFC North that need quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pittsburgh.
It is what it is. Garrett Nussmeier, I love you, but you ain't no Jaden Daniels. So I probably won't have that kind of love going into the league that I do with Jaden. But
he could be quarterback 1. It wouldn't shock me.
He is a very good quarterback. And with another year left, he, like I said, going into that last year at LSU with Jaden, I was worried about our quarterback play. That was what I should have worried about the least. I should have worried about our defense. And this one, it's probably defense again. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to move up again and do good. And we're losing a lot of pieces off our offensive line, though, but that's college. That's the way.
Yeah, but they should have. I mean, they're going to have offensive linemen, I imagine. Mm-hmm. They always do. And then also, like, they brought in Barry and Brown from Kentucky, the speedster wide receiver, and Nick Anderson, who I think could be in the conversation for wide receiver 1 next year. He was injured most of the year from Oklahoma. You guys brought him in too. You brought a bunch of guys in through the portal. Yeah. Offensive linemen too. You replaced some offensive linemen through the portal. So that like proven guys. So you guys have a chance to actually be good next year. I'm telling you.
I'm hoping.
Especially if Harold Perkins can be good and Whit Weeks is healthy and his brother. Like you got some guys.
Well, hopefully what Will Weeks does is he plays that linebacker and they throw Perkins up on the edge and just make him rush the passer on the edge.
But I wouldn't have too much faith because you still got Brian Kelly.
Because he's undersized, right?
Well, Brian Kelly sucks.
Yeah, okay.
I don't care that he's undersized.
I disagree with you about Brian Kelly.
It's Brian Kelly. I don't expect him to do anything smart.
Right. I don't disagree. Brian Kelly is the weak spot in the Tigers team.
All right. We'll end this one. Pop-up show. We will be back tomorrow. The plan is to have Parker Blake unless, he's just down there having too much fun in Mobile, Alabama. You don't join. But as far as I know, we'll have Parker Blake live from Mobile, Alabama to recap Senior Bowl week and everything he saw in person at the Senior Bowl. So it'll be Senior Bowl draft heavy tomorrow, which is why I thought we'd do a show today to talk about the Duke Tobin comments so we can just give ourselves a full hour or however long we go to talk Senior Bowl and draft tomorrow. So,
well, it gives me something to do besides sit my fucking recliner until I can go back to work.
That's true. You got all the time in the world.
I know.
But, hey, Sandusky is glad you're up and around.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I got all this time. If I can get in between doctor's appointments, maybe I'll drive my ass down there to Myrtle Beach.
Love you too, Crip. You're a good dude. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate, man. Travis, Chris, Industries, just KP. There's just too many to name, to be honest.
Yeah,
you guys are freaking awesome. Matt, obviously Matt.
Matt, who's helping me out, Matt, because I'm off work, and he knows, so he went
one
ahead
shirt at a time,
baby. Up and bought a shirt. He knows the Chops base pay isn't the same as his overtime and shift diff, so he's helping out. And I appreciate that, Matt. You're one of the good ones.
And anybody else can help out too by going to the shop 513.myshopify.com. Look around, man. There's so many good shirts, so many funny shirts. Get your Mike Clown shirt. Get your Mike Clown shirt here.
Yep. I love that shirt too.
And there's multiple Mike Clown shirts.
I love
Make the Bengals great again.
I love that one too. Make Bengals great again.
Yeah, make the Bengals great.
And don't forget, man, it's never too early to get your Victory Monday shirt because we're going to need that next year a lot.
Even though we play in prime time so much, there was even hardly very many.
I need a Victory Tuesday shirt, don't I?
Victory Tuesday, Wednesday.
Victory Tuesday, Victory.
Not Wednesday.
Victory
Friday,
Sunday. Because sometimes
Friday.
Victory Friday.
Victory Friday.
Don't fucking tempt me.
Victory.
All I got to do is change the name on it.
Yeah. Victory Sunday for late in the year for the Saturday game.
Victory Day.
Yeah. It's Victory Day. Victory Day. DEY.
Victory Week. DEY Day. Victory Week Day.
Victory
there you
Day.
go.
No doubt. All right, man. Brew Crew, you guys are awesome. That's why I always enjoy doing the pop-up shows, coming on here
for us,
spending an hour, chatting it up with you guys, talking Bengals football, talking life, talking hookers.
Less than 2 months, too, to our live broadcast at Midwest Best Barbecue.
Yes, sir. March 15th. Saturday, March 15th at 3:30. Love you too, Wade. You guys are the best. And victory every day. Victory every day.
Hell yeah, victory every day.
There we go. All right. Appreciate y'all. Guys are the best. Houday forever.